Hi, I'm John Malice. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. Glad you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun on the program. We're going to take you back in time, talk about Huntington Boulevard in a specific home that's sold already. In fact, it closes next week. We'll be here with a real estate agent to talk about that historic property. 436-ME-TV option 11. On this Friday morning, you're watching Connect with Me. Back in a moment. All right, we're back here on the program on a Friday morning. Glad you're here. Glad it's the weekend, right? All right, a lot to talk about today. Huntington Boulevard. A quick programming note for next week. On Monday, we have the one and only Brooke Ashton. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the scandals that he's been involved in. You know, Brooke comes in here. He's not afraid to talk about anything, even if it involves him, if it's controversial. He's upfront, and what you see is what you get. We'll also talk a little bit about Bullard High School. Man, have you seen the amazing changes going on at Bullard High School these days? You just drive along Palm Avenue. That place is being totally redone with a new administration building, a new library, new classrooms. You won't even recognize it when it's done by the end of summer when the next school year starts. Anyway, on Tuesday we have a business segment, somebody that's right within just a few feet of the new Fulton Street that's opening up later in the summer. Okay, right now you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375 as usual, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. By now, I know you know it's a call-in program, and you'll be intrigued by today's program. Anyway, if you can't get us on Comcast, it's 43.6, 13.1 over-the-air broadcast with a digital antenna. And then, and by the way, that's a TV antenna, not a radio antenna. We're a TV program. The replay comes up at 2 o'clock in the morning, or at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, excuse me, 13.6 YouTube, 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. After that, you can catch all of our shows on YouTube. And today we're talking about one of the most historic homes in the entire city of Fresno. It sits on the corner of 6th and Huntington Boulevard. That's the area that dates back to the turn of the century, like just after 1900, maybe a little beyond, into the teens. I want to roll the videotape and show you exactly what I'm talking about on this day, my friends. There it is right there. Huntington Boulevard still has a certain appeal to those who love history, and the home you see here at 3555 East Huntington Boulevard has just been sold. In fact, escrow closes next week. Great timing for us, right? This grand old Victorian has earned a spot on the Fresno Historical Registry, built in 1920. It has more than 6,200 square feet of space. It sits on an acre lot, more than an acre actually. It sold for $595,000, I think. We'll ask our expert today, but according to one website, the estimated value was more than $636,000. But as you well know, values have skyrocketed the past 5 years. In 2013, this home sold for $265,000 as a foreclosure, according to some records online. It's got central air, 2 parking spaces, a huge swimming pool. It sits in the Fresno Unified School District. This is one of more than 120 homes along Huntington Boulevard, but only one of 17 that are now on the historical designation site, and this is one of them. Huntington Boulevard is a classic example of urban development in Fresno during the early 1900s. The grassy corridor, and there's that beautiful swimming pool, wow. The grassy corridor that runs down the center of this majestic boulevard was first developed as a streetcar line by Albert Wishon, and in a certain way, the line replaced the horse and buggy. When a home gets on the list of historical homes, it means that the owner can actually change the inside, but as far as the outside is concerned, like the acoustics right here on the outside, the stucco and all that, can't change that, because that keeps the outside in lockstep with the legacy of Huntington Boulevard. What a beautiful place it certainly is. but I didn't have the money to buy it. Anyway, live in our studio is Don Scordino. He's a longtime realtor at Realty Concepts. He is here to talk about the home because he's the one who handled the transaction on the home, and it closes next week. Escrow does. 436-MeTV option 11. It's 3555 Huntington Boulevard, that historic place. More than 120 homes along that historic route. It is beautiful. Back in just a moment with your phone calls too and our expert.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KBHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to Digital Channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV guide.
The Justice Network is here. If you haven't tuned in, you're missing a great lineup of gripping stories of real crime, plus an unprecedented effort by viewers like you to play an active role in making your community safer. You can help support law enforcement by providing information that may lead to the apprehension of dangerous criminals or find a missing child. Great shows and your chance to fight crime, only on the Justice Network.
All right, back here on the program, 436-MeTV option 11. Who doesn't love Huntington Boulevard, right? We've had Penny Raven here many times as a guest. Not recent times, but she's been a regular on this program. You can call in today to talk about Huntington Boulevard, 436-MeTV option 11. Don Scordino, good to see you this morning. How are you, sir?
Great. Thank you, John. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy this show.
Oh, we always enjoy having you, too, because you're a wealth of information. But let me ask you something. I want you to correct some of the stats right off the bat, some of the miscues that maybe I had or missteps in the monologue.
Okay.
About the price, first of all.
And that's a very common thing because when you get information online, it's not always 100% accurate.
Name of the website I got it from was...
I think you said it was Zillow?
Zillow. Yeah, that's where I got some of those figures from. So
right.
not correct.
Well, right. The buyer... The current owner bought the property about 4 years ago through me. That's why I know this. So I'm not going off a computer program. I'm going off memory.
And that's better than a computer.
Most of the time. It was $333,000 that they purchased the home for, not the $265,000.
Gotcha.
What that $265,000 signified is what the bank, which was Wells Fargo, had written off their books. And so it's hard to interpret all that stuff.
Why doesn't the website clarify that then?
Well, I'm just not a big...
I just wonder why that that they don't just take the numbers as accurately as you do. It's amazing.
Well, and realtors really wish they did too. In fact, it was a few years ago the realtors pulled their feed to Zillow and to several other websites because of inaccuracies in their lack of desire to correct it.
So give our viewers a little sense for what they should do if they're buying a home. Don't go to some of these websites.
You know, the best websites to go to are the websites that are local, that are a direct feed from the local multiple listing service. Because
like Realty Concepts, like London Properties,
exactly.
Like who else am I leaving out? Guarantee, or I don't know. I'm leaving out a whole host of them. But
I mean, I even have one that's donscordino.com, which is a direct feed. Now it sounds like okay.
Is it direct feed into the MLS?
Yeah. It is. So it's hard to tell somebody, oh yeah, donscordino.com is a more accurate website than this big national company.
But your website is taking that information from where?
The Fresno Multiple Listing Service. So
gotcha.
If a new listing comes out right now it's on donscordino.com.
Does it automatically just get posted there?
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to wait for me on that.
Okay, so there's a program that does that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I pay for it, just as the companies do.
Yeah.
But that's probably the most accurate one. I've had people before that have come out from out of state to look at a home, and when they get here, they find out that, oh, that thing sold 6 months ago. So that's not very reliable information, and that's what we really need to have is good, reliable information. And you also need a good, reliable realtor to help interpret that.
Yeah.
If I were to look at my medical charts, I would need a doctor to help me interpret it. I wouldn't know what it meant.
Sure, sure. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to run that monologue video again, and I want you to tell us about this house. What was the purchase price on this one?
I can't say it yet because it's still in escrow. We were asking $595,000.
Was it close at least?
Yeah, it was close.
Okay, but it's probably worth more than that, don't you think?
Well, sure. To the right buyer who has the that desire to have a historical home.
Take this call here real quick. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air with Don Scordino as we take a look at this gorgeous home that just sold.
Yes, I just had a question. What's the FHA? Is it 3% still to put down, or are you looking at more like incentives for first-time buyers right now?
The minimum down payment on an FHA loan is 3.5%. It did used to be 3, and for some reason they raised it 0.5%.
Okay. Well, great. So it is 0.5%. As we take a look at the inside of this home, we're going to continue here. It looks like it's been refurbished inside.
Oh, yeah. The current owners have done a tremendous job in refurbishing the home. And they didn't just go down to the local hardware store to buy a doorknob that was missing. And remember, when they bought it, it was a foreclosure through Wells Fargo, so there was a lot of items that were missing in the home.
That's a gigantic swimming pool, by the way. So has the outside been restored as well?
Yes. In fact, the swimming pool was basically redone from the dirt up.
Okay.
Now, a little history on that swimming pool, and I learned this because one of the old owners that lived there in the 80s told me that they know that Admiral Nimitz swam in that swimming pool after World War II. He was a daytime guest of the Wishons, and
wow.
So Admiral Nimitz swam in there.
All right, and of course, this home built in 1920, and you know, I don't want to be redundant here, but Carrie, can we roll it again from the beginning, because I want to talk a little bit about the inside of this home and how it's been refurbished. I can't get enough of this drone video. That is really cool. And there's historic Huntington Boulevard, of course. But as we go inside to the home, it's got natural hardwood floors. And it has a porch, an old-fashioned porch. You don't see the porches like that anymore.
Right. And the wicker furniture that's in there was the Wishons. So
it was.
Yeah, the Historical Society gave it back to these people when they registered it on the site.
Natural hardwood floors. Are they the original?
Believe so, yeah.
Dating back to the 20s. Wow.
And here's what's really interesting about that property, too. The walls are 12-inch concrete block walls. Their electric bills during the summertime rarely exceeded $200 during the summertime for a 6,200 square foot home.
Yeah, is it a bulletproof home or what? I mean,
well,
close.
Well, yeah,
close.
Yeah.
Probably close. Yeah, no question.
And that's an elevator that's in the home, and that now works.
Oh, there's an elevator inside the house.
Right. The story is that when A.G. Wishon built the home, his wife got sick and couldn't go upstairs to the bedrooms because that's where the bedrooms are, and so he put that elevator in.
And there's that swimming pool again. Okay, we've seen enough of this house, I think. But it was for sale for so long. How long did it take to sell?
This one has been. This is not your typical home, so it's not going to sell in 1 week or 2 weeks.
Was it 6 months?
Yeah, I think it was about 5 months. We were in escrow several times, but buyer issues got in our way.
And who bought the home?
Actually, interesting. It's a perfect fit. They now own a historical home in Alabama, and so they're very familiar with the Historical Society. That's what they wanted. In fact, they looked at other historical homes throughout the valley, and this is the one they settled on.
Yeah, did they say why?
That's just the style that they like. So the home was more important to them than proximity to work, proximity to schools, because that's what a lot of buyers buy on is, they want that location half a mile from their job. These people wanted a beautiful historic home.
Are they going to live in it?
Oh yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay, and so is it a couple that bought it? Or?
Yes.
Really? And they've got kids?
They do.
All right, so it's right there located in the Fresno Unified School District. I think the elementary school is Jackson Elementary School. That's the closest one?
Yeah, and by the way, that's where I went to school. That was my very first school.
Okay, Jackson Elementary. The middle school is Sequoia. Roosevelt is the high school that has the close proximity to that 3555 Huntington Boulevard address, that old historic home. We're going to come back here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno and talk a little bit about Huntington Boulevard and the history of it, because there is an enormous amount of information and history regarding that boulevard. 436 MeTV, option 11. Back here in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the KitchenAid appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Save big with KitchenAid. Right now, get up to a $1,000 prepaid MasterCard when you purchase select KitchenAid appliances. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
All right, they haven't done this calendar in quite some time. I don't know, maybe a couple of years. This is the 2013 version. It's the Huntington Boulevard Historical Homes Calendar. It's right here, circa 2013, and it has a lot of the artist rendition of the homes that are along Huntington Boulevard. Mr. Doug Hansen, he's an artist, worked at the Fresno Bee. He did the artwork on this calendar, and it is spectacular. Any word why they haven't done a calendar here in a while, Don?
I don't know exactly why. I know there was a lot of effort that had to be put into that, but I used to get those. I'd go down, Candlelight Lane for Christmas every time, every December, and I'd always buy one to help support them.
Yeah, let's put this up on the screen here. There's one of the not pictures, but I mean it's artwork of one of the homes along Huntington Boulevard. That's not the house you just sold, is it? No, it's not, actually, but it's a beautiful home. Most of these homes were built either in the teens or the early or mid to late 20s. And so let's roll the videotape on Huntington Boulevard sign. It's the Huntington sign, and there it is right there. It's kind of a landmark right there. Don, this has a homeowners historical association still, right? Or does it right now?
But it's not as strong as it used to be. In fact, if you drive through there during the month of December, you're going to notice there's not as many homes that decorate for Christmas. So it's.
How come?
Well, I think like most things, it's going to need to be revitalized.
Okay.
And
there's not the push for it that there once was. Penny Raven is not pushing for it out there? You know Penny.
Yeah, I do know Penny, and I think she was such a strong force behind it for a long time, and I know that they probably missed that push that she gave.
Yeah, now keep in mind, these are the following American presidents that have stayed in one or more of these homes along Huntington Boulevard. Okay, you ready for the list? It is quite impressive. There's 6 of them. Herbert Hoover, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan. Those are 3 Republicans, by the way. You got Franklin Roosevelt, Lyndon Johnson, and John F. Kennedy, 3 Democrats. So it's quite a historic place indeed.
It's a bipartisan.
Yeah, it's bipartisan,
street.
3 and 3.
Yeah.
See, there's not one more than one from each party. Anyway, caller, you're on the air with Don Scordino.
Good morning. Good morning, John. Good morning, Don. Listen, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate with you. if I had the money, I'm not sure I would buy a house in that area. That's one statement.
Why?
It's changed a lot. Still beautiful homes, don't get me wrong. It's still beautiful. And Don, listen, do they, like this gentleman bought this house from Alabama, is he going to, you think that, now, you know, be honest with me, whatever, he bought this house to resell maybe 4 or 5 years from now? Is that possible? And do you notice more people staying there or reselling after they purchase it with the price going up? That's
you're saying,
maybe,
okay, wait a second. Hang on here, Edward.
Okay.
Are you there? All right.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you buy a home along Huntington?
Well, this area has changed. Security sake, possibly.
Okay. Where do you live now? What area of town?
Well, I'm on the east side of town.
Okay.
And it kind of reminds me, I'm in Easterby District.
Okay.
And it's holding. It's actually doing not so bad. I'm not far from the Sunnyside area.
Okay.
And the area is holding. I only see a helicopter fly over maybe once every other week. I can't, instead of every week.
All right, hang on there. Hold the line. Hold the line there,
Okay,
Edward.
thank
Hold
you.
the line. You want to comment?
I'd love to comment on that, Edward. You know what? I've had that listing for some time, and of course, 4 years ago, I was very involved when they purchased it too. So I've been there a lot, and I came up with the perfect answer. I got a phone call a few months ago, and the guy just started off, "How's the neighborhood here?" Well, that's a tough question for a realtor to answer because you never know. It could be the Bureau of Real Estate calling to check on you and how you're going to answer things. But here was my answer to him. I said, "Well, are you in front of the house?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, look up and down the street. Do you see a mom pushing a stroller?" He goes, "Yeah, across the street there is one." I said, "Do you see elderly people just taking a leisurely stroll?" He goes, "Yeah, they're all over." I said, and I've seen the Roosevelt kids walking by there, and it's just it comes across as safe. And I don't think that an elderly couple would be walking out there. And the fact is, I just knew because there's so many people walking by there that it was safe, and I knew that they would be there. That's why I said it to this guy, and sure enough, I was right. I mean, I was taking a chance. I didn't have. I couldn't see what was on the street, but I just know that every time I'm out there, people are walking up and down the street, and it's just a safe environment. And
listen, the bottom line is, if someone's going to take a bullet, they can take a bullet anywhere. It can be in Northwest Fresno, it can be in Northeast Fresno, it can be along Huntington Boulevard, it can be right here across the street in Southwest, Southeast, South, whatever. So
John,
Go, okay,
I agree, John, with you.
What's that?
I do agree with you that, I mean, it's a little bit all over, and sometimes it gets better security, or the crime goes down, and hopefully that'll start happening again. You know, I noticed, the only thing is, Don, here's my point. I kind of noticed when things started going downhill on Huntington Boulevard a little bit, Christmas Tree Lane was coming to an end. In fact, I don't even know if it still exists, be honest with you.
It does.
So that's another question. Is it still alive and well, if you do know the answer? And thank you, Don.
sure.
Okay, thanks.
I believe it's alive and well, but
Is he talking about Christmas Tree Lane?
I think he meant Candlelight Lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's alive and well. Yes, it can improve, and I think you're going to see that. We're starting to see a lot of growth downtown, revitalization downtown, and I think that's going to spread to this area. I mean, that's a walkable distance to the downtown area.
Yeah. Hang on, caller. One moment, please. Did the buyers buy it for an investment and to sell it later on?
No.
Okay, because that was one of his questions,
Yeah,
too.
and
Hang
I
on,
can't
caller.
answer for the buyer, but they leave no signs at all that that's an investment. They want to live there.
Before we take the call here, hey, Carrie, let's roll a shot. It's on the videotape. It's called Rolling Shot. This is a rolling shot of the neighborhood along Huntington Boulevard. Look at that beautiful home. Oh, man, that looks like TV show, My Three Sons, right?
Oh, yeah. Or
Maybe
Leave It to Beaver's house.
Leave It to Beaver. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
John and Don, two of my favorite guys. Guess who? Hey, did you notice that Huntington Boulevard and the Wishon House and the next street over is Kirkhoff? All these names, Kirkhoff, Wishon, Huntington, and even Redinger, are all the guys that were affiliated with the hardest working water in the world, which is Huntington Lake, Wishon Lake, the Shaver Drop down to Redinger and into Kirkhoff. Those are all the guys that used to hang together back in the 1900s that put all this stuff together. Quite interesting, huh?
And don't forget Balch. Balch Street's there, and up in the mountains there, along with Wishon and the other Huntington is Balch also.
All right, so what you're talking about, caller, let me clarify to some of the viewers, okay, this was almost like the introduction to electricity in the city of Fresno, was that Alta Vista track line, right? For the trolley cars, right down the center of Huntington Boulevard where the grassy, I want to say grassy knoll, but it's like the grassy area now. And these three people or four people that he mentioned, what was it, Huntington, Balch, Kirkhoff, Wishon, they developed a partnership, right?
I do believe that's how that worked.
Yeah, and it was called the Fresno Traction Company, 1903 to 1939. And so
their water system, John, is what powered all that, and they the hardest working water in the world on the San Joaquin River Basin sent power all the way to Orange County.
But I want and if you're still watching your TV, don't turn the sound up. But if you're watching your TV, Carrie, go ahead and put that photo up, that black and white photo, that trolley car, just to give you an idea of what it looked like right there. It's one of the trolley cars coming in right there. I don't know what circa that is, but of course, you know, all three or four of these people invested in the San Joaquin Power Company to create electricity, like you just said. And really, this was kind of a demonstration of how things in urban development happened just in the early going in the 1920s, I guess, or maybe even before that. So, you know, I think that this place is historic. Has it gone down in value? I don't know. Only Don can answer that. But would you buy a home along Huntington Boulevard right now?
I wouldn't. I have too many friends there, John, but I'd like to know what happened to the cable cars.
Maybe Don can answer that. I have no idea.
Well, those were just the early day high-speed rails.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Good one, Don.
That's right.
Thank you, Kelly.
All
right. See you later, guys. Thanks a lot.
Hey, that was a good phone call. I appreciate it very much. And, you know, there's so much history there. That's how the whole thing started, with the electricity. And, of course, they yanked out the line, and now you've got the grassy area, which you do see people actually jogging there at all times of days and during the day and at night even. And I guess they feel safe. You've already mentioned that at the top of the program. But what makes this place, and I got to go to break, but what makes Huntington still have the appeal to certain people? Not everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but to certain people it still has a main appeal.
There's a lot of buyers out there that want the old time look. That's why Old Fig is popular, the old Fresno High area is popular, and Huntington Boulevard. People like those older homes. I think, you know, it's a remembrance of the good old days. Maybe when we were kids and you know, we didn't have a care in the world. So, but I have lots and lots of buyers that don't want the brand new urban developments. They want the
track homes.
Right. They want that older one that has charm and character and old world charm.
Yeah. Hey, we'll take this call and then go to break here. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air. Caller?
Okay. I just wanted to say my husband and I used to take our teenage kids every Christmas, and we walked down Huntington Boulevard because it was so beautiful. And anyway, we, you know, that was years ago. We live in the ranches now, so we're not out there anymore. But
yeah, and I remember as a kid, and that's what makes this a special opportunity for me in my career to sell this home, because I remember as a kid driving through Candlelight Christmas Lane there, and that was the house that we got excited about. You know, we'd jump up, and of course, remember my dad yelling, "Sit down, don't get up in the car and stick your head out the window." But that was it was just an excitement as a kid.
Yeah. All right, caller.
We walked.
Yeah.
We walked down there. We didn't ride in a car.
Oh man, yeah.
We would walk out in the middle, and we could look at both sides, and it was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it very much. Before we go to break, I want to roll a piece of videotape, Carrie, and then we'll go to break after this. Let's roll the one that says Don at work. Don at work. That means Don Scordino is actually working for a living, my friends. And I'm not talking about selling real estate. Hey, this guy's on the radio too. You mean to tell me he's moonlighting on the side, ESPN radio, Saturday mornings, what time?
9 to 10.
Oh, okay. What's the, what are the call letters, 940?
940 a.m. Yeah.
That's your AM dial. Okay, 9:40 a.m. and it's for how long? An hour?
1 hour.
All right.
Tomorrow's going to be a great show.
Okay, and what do you got tomorrow?
I got Isaac Ramirez of the Isaac Ramirez Company on there, another realtor, and we're going to talk a lot about how simple it is to close an escrow. And of course, there's a little sarcasm in there. It's not that simple.
Never easy. It's never easy.
Right, but it'll be a fun, entertaining show.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll touch on that a little bit too today before we hit the road here.
Sure.
Okay. Let's go to break. That's Don Scordino at work. 436-ME-TV, option 11 is the phone number if you want to call in and talk about Huntington Boulevard, that historic stretch of homes. It's exactly 1 mile, and I think they have exactly 120 homes along Huntington Boulevard. Back in a moment.
Sports is now on KBHF 4.3.
The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. Enjoy generous-sized cooktops and saute or simmer with ease, while true convection ovens offer even baking and juicy roasting perfection. Foods stay their freshest in spacious refrigerators with convenient controls and clear filtered ice and water. Easy to clean surfaces reduce fingerprints, and the quietest of dishwashers makes cleanup a snap. The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance.
All right, having some fun here. We're getting a few yawns around here. I don't know. Am I that boring?
It's probably me, John. I know it's not you.
Oh, I think it could be me. I don't know. 436-ME-TV, option 11. It's Huntington Boulevard. Let's roll the videotape. The big White House. There's a huge White House along Huntington Boulevard that you'll want to see if you go out there. Now, listen, you grew up in Fresno, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What do you remember about that big White House? No. About Huntington Boulevard. What do you remember as a kid? Do you remember wanting to go there?
Oh, yeah. It was exciting to go down there, especially at Christmas time.
But it was different.
Oh, yeah. It was like a whole nother world from the
like
urban part of Fresno. Now, the other thing I remember are the huge camphor trees. Well, then you see them right there. They were when I was a kid, which was just a short time ago, but those trees were big back then.
Yeah. And there's a nice corner house right there. That's a beauty. Not sure where that one's located. I think I've seen that home along Huntington Boulevard.
I think that one's on the south side of Huntington on 4th Street, I believe. Mm-hmm. But the other thing about Huntington Boulevard that makes it really nice, as opposed to, let's say, Old Fig, you can, as you drive down the street, you can see all the homes on Huntington because the trees are out front. Whereas Old Fig, the homes are kind of set back and shaded away from the street. So you don't really see the home as much as you do here on Huntington.
Yeah. But the homes on Huntington Boulevard, it's almost like they're show homes. You know, in Old Fig, they're not really show homes. You know, people actually you know, it's kind of a hideout for them almost. They're set so far back, like you said, but Huntington Boulevard, it's almost like, hey man, you know, I bought a house here. Look at my house. You know, it's almost like they want to show the neighborhood and the city, man, isn't this a magnificent home? And I was able to purchase this home. Isn't that great?
Yeah, and you know
It's
what?
that kind of an attitude, right?
Yeah, and it's more than an attitude. It's actually a thing called the CC&Rs, Covenants, Codes, and Restrictions, which say what you can build in a neighborhood. Now, I'm sure if you were to read the CC&Rs along Huntington, it's going to give you minimum building size, and you have to conform to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Whereas Old Fig and even that one caller was from Madera Ranchos, the CC&Rs are not as strict out there. So you might build a $500,000 home on one lot, and right next door is a much smaller one and maybe not as well kept. So the conformity isn't as great, and that affects the neighborhood.
I want to roll a piece of videotape called Small Houses. There are some small bungalow type houses out there as well. You don't have, every house is not a mansion. This is not exactly a bungalow, but you have some of the smaller homes out there as well. Not every house is, well, there's one of them right there, actually. Not every house has 6,000 square feet. I mean, these are reasonable, normal size homes. Am I right?
They were big back then.
Yeah. But I'm saying there's a combination, there's a mix
Right.
of large and small. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead, caller.
My name is Warner. I lived on Huntington Boulevard for 50 years, 40 years, I guess, and had two locations. And I thought it would be appropriate to speak to the television program going on now.
Okay, can you do me a favor? Turn down the sound or mute your television so you can hear us and not your TV.
Turn down the channel. Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay, the sound is down. I don't hear the sound anymore. Okay, what would you like to say about living at Huntington Boulevard? Is it safe? Why have you...
I was born there and lived there for until I moved away in about 1960.
Okay. Okay, but you live there now?
No.
Oh, you don't live there now, but you lived there for how long? Just growing up?
For I guess until I went into business and moved away and got married. I guess getting married was the big deal.
Yeah, what do you think of Huntington Boulevard now compared to when you lived there?
Well, it's quite different, but the homes that you're showing now, the O'Neill home is on the tube at the moment, but it's still a wonderful place, I think. But my experience would be just sharing with the audience the experience of living there during the wartime and as a child.
You know, you bring up a really good word there, experience. Because when you buy on Huntington Boulevard, you're not just buying a home, you're buying an experience also. When you buy in a typical subdivision, you're buying a home, not so much the experience. And not in all cases. You know, some neighborhoods have nice parks, but heck, this one has a park right out in your front yard and a park on the street strip.
Yeah.
So it's an experience to live there, too.
A million times.
Yeah, in fact, it's such an experience that you remembered it, and here you thought enough to call in and share that.
Yeah, it's amazing that you lived there during the war and you have all these memories of Huntington Boulevard still to this day in 2017. That's pretty good.
Well, I was born in 28, so I lived there in 1928 for about 2 weeks, born in December. But it's just a nice experience.
Right. Okay. Well, I appreciate the phone call very much. Thank you for calling in and weighing in. That is a great and informative call from someone who lived there during World War II and having grown up there. I do want to roll the videotape on some more Let's go with the Scordino house. Scordino house. So once again, we'll take a look at the outside of that and some other homes there. And of course, this house selling, there it is right there. It's closes escrow. So tomorrow's program on ESPN, you're talking about how difficult it is to close escrow. Why is it difficult?
You know,
Too many laws? Too many laws on the books?
Well, no, not just laws, but there's so many different people involved, all the way from the lender, the termite company, the insurance company, not to mention the buyer and the seller. There's just so many factors involved. Oh, in fact, we recently had a little hang up on this where the notary that was out of state didn't send the notary paper back properly to where Fresno County would accept it. So, you know, little things like that, they're all correctable, but they take time and effort.
Yeah, so that's what the hang up is sometimes with escrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but also there are a lot of laws on the books in the state of California when it comes to buying and selling a home, more so than there were 20, 30 years ago.
Definitely.
And that's cumbersome. It slows the process down.
I was telling somebody last night, I said, it's like, I know how this guy's a doctor.
The guy that bought the house?
No, he's actually the one selling the house on Huntington. Right. And I said, you know, you probably feel like you need to do it this way, but the insurance company tells you, no, you got to do it this way. So an insurance person is telling the doctor how to operate. I almost feel that way sometimes too as a realtor. You feel like, well, this is the right way to handle this situation, but, you know, we're told by administrative people that have to deal with the errors and omissions insurance regulations and all that, nope, this is the way you got to do it.
So sometimes your hands are tied.
Yes.
Okay. Quickly before we go to break, I want to roll another piece of videotape after this one is done. And let me tell you what the name of the piece of videotape that I do want to show, because I do want to show. Now, I just want to preface this by saying this by no stretch is, I'm not isolating on this one house, but you know, termites are a problem everywhere in the Central Valley. I don't care where you go. I don't care where you live. This is a farming area. There were fig trees here. There are termites everywhere. You know, there might be termites in my hair right now. I have no idea. I want to roll a videotape called Tent. Now, this is your house, the one that you just sold. It was tented for a while. How long?
2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it'll get rid of everything in there. And those are for drywood termites. There's two kinds of termites here in our valley, drywoods and subterraneans.
Okay.
And subterraneans come from the ground. They drill and treat to get rid of those. Here they have to tent it.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a very important question here, because I talked to you about this on the phone the other night. All right, heaven forbid, if you own a house and you got to tent the darn thing, I wouldn't want my furniture or anything in there to get all, you know, I mean, what do they do to fumigate in there? I don't want those fumigation particles on my furniture. Is it a good idea to get them out?
Well, before they fumigate, they give you a big form that describes what to do. Certainly, anything you're going to ingest, you get rid of. Food, you know, take it off your dining room table. Furniture, it's not going to affect you.
Okay, all right. And so, what kind of fumigation system happens here? What do they do when they put the tent over that? What happens inside?
Well, they put a bunch of blowers in there, and they put
like a smoke bomb in there?
Yeah, I guess that'd be a good way to describe it. That'd be a good analogy. And it's a gas that
is released.
Yeah.
Like time release?
I believe, yeah, it is. Because
like a time release.
Yeah, because they'll do that for, I believe it's for like 24 hours, and then they let it settle for another 24, and then they'll take the tent off.
And that kills the termites. And how long is that good for?
This is not going to be a great answer for you. It's as good as that day, because there's no guarantee that tomorrow a new swarm of drywood termites don't fly in.
Even after the fumigation?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not likely, but it could happen. But
have you seen it happen?
No.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but to show you how common termites are, my wife and I recently took a cruise. We got off the boat after 5 days and we walked along the pier in Long Beach, and I'm thinking, oh, what a beautiful view. Then we're sitting there having coffee at a coffee shop, and I get fixated on this wooden plank in front of me because it has termites on it.
Yeah.
And I just started watching the termites work, and then I was going through the mental process. Are these drywoods or are they subterraneans? You know.
Yeah.
But,
what do we have to do to rectify this?
I think I needed a longer vacation to get away from termites.
Oh man, caller, you're on the air with Don Scordino. Go ahead.
Hey Don, here's another tidbit for you. Richard Stockley was the B-boy in 1940 for the Huntington Boulevard area. And he now lives down there. That's Stockley's, or Richard's restaurant on Belmont.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Richard's restaurant. We ate there for the Christmas.
He was the B-boy in 1940, which Don was, because he took over my old route.
Can you imagine that I had to be taught by Kelly?
Yeah.
For 2 days he had to teach me.
And now he lives on Huntington.
Man. Wow.
See you guys.
All right.
See you, Kelly.
So... yeah, Richard's, the company here of Ventura TV, we had our Christmas luncheon over there. Yeah, that was pretty nice. So anyway, all right, Don Scordino is here, 436-MeTV, option 11. Little time left. Call back if you want. Don't call back. Hey, call in if you want to get through to the program. Back in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
The following is a list of celebrities you will not see on MeTV programs. Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snooki, Paris Hilton, Perez Hilton, Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Simon Cowell, Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus, and the Real Housewives of any place. This is who you will see on MeTV programs. Lucy, Ralph, Mary, Perry, Gilligan, Kenner, Spock, Batman, Rowdy, Festus, and the Beaver. MeTV. Thanks for watching.
All right, we're back here with Don Scordino of Realty Concepts. How do they get in touch with you if they want to?
Well, it's simple. You can call me at my office, 490-1590, or my email is very easy. It's my name, Don Scordino, at realtyconcepts.com.
All right. Caller, you're on the air with Don Scordino.
I just wanted to say we built a steel home, and you didn't have to worry about the termites, and you didn't have to worry about woodpeckers. In fact, somebody came to our business in Oakhurst and told us that EPA was going to sue us because the woodpeckers were having broken peckers pecking on the steel, because they couldn't peck on that, couldn't peck through it.
And you know,
anyway,
I sold a home recently that had a bat problem. It was over by water, and there were bats everywhere. So those fumigation tents are good.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Oh.
You still there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Anyway, did you hear what I had said?
Yeah.
About the woodpeckers and the termites?
Absolutely.
Anyway, and we had aluminum sights put up on it, and it was so neat because we had a 7.5 porch all the way around the 2-story home. Mm-hmm. And when the yellow pollens and things would settle on the thing, I just spray them off with a hose.
Yeah.
And you never have to paint because it's metal.
Yeah.
And it was just really neat. In fact, if I was younger, I'd be building those up there in the mountains.
Okay.
For everybody, because they are great. And I was the contractor when we built it, and it's like putting a Lego thing together. They have a thing telling you how to stand your channels, your wood is like, you know, I mean,
All
you're
right.
metal.
We appreciate the phone call, but we're kind of short on time, ma'am. But I appreciate you giving us a call.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's roll one last piece of videotape there from Huntington Boulevard. It's called Bushes and Homes. And let me ask you about the real estate market here in the city of Fresno. Aside from, you know, Huntington is part of that real estate market, are there still more people looking to buy homes than there are homes available to purchase?
Yes, definitely true.
Why?
You know, we went through a period of time between 2007 and 2014, let's say, where we built very few new homes, but we still had people moving into the area, people growing, moving out of their homes. A lot of the millennials are finally moving out of their parents' home, and there's just a shortage of homes. And then, you know, to add on to it, there's a lot of sellers that don't want to sell because they got a really, really nice 3.5% fixed rate mortgage. So they're happy where they're at.
Yeah, yeah. And so are there people that are done, or are there people that are getting on waiting lists now to buy a home?
Well, the waiting list, and this is going to sound bad, but the waiting list starts at the curb of a new listing. If you have a really nice new listing that's presented well, priced properly, there will probably be the cars waiting out at the curb, waiting to show the home. I was at one last week. There were 4 people in front of us.
So you're getting, but in 2003 and a little bit beyond, people were getting into bidding wars. Are we getting into bidding wars again?
Yes, there are bidding wars, but the home, it's a seller's market. But the seller still has to stay inside the market. So if they price it $50,000 too high, they're no longer in the seller's market.
So they have to stay within the square.
Yeah, right. So they still have to be reasonable. And then
But they're on the high end of being reasonable.
Yeah, that's still okay. The high end of reasonable. Just don't go beyond it. And how do you know if you're in it? Well, that's where you got to rely on your realtor.
How do you know? How do you know as a realtor what too high is? What's too much in terms of, you know, a selling price? How do you know where the line is and you're crossing that line?
It's a combination of, well, first of all, the realtor, I would have to research the property, the area, and it's a combination of mathematics and also gut feeling.
How about comparatives?
Well, yeah, and that's where the mathematics come in. So you use the comps and you say, okay, well, this one had 200 square feet more, so this one's worth that much less. But a lot of it is gut feeling too. And I'm going to say doctors, lawyers, plumbers, all professions have to have that gut feel. That's why I don't think we'll ever be replaced by a computer.
Yeah. Okay, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Don. My wife and I have been recently discussing whether or not we should buy solar or lease solar. We have a 2,600 square foot home in North Fresno, and the last couple of years, our PG&E bills during the summer, especially, that's come up in the neighborhood of like $1,000 or close to it. So we're really, especially with this recent announcement of PG&E's rate hike, we're really serious about looking into solar, and maybe you could give us some perspective. We don't plan on moving from the home, but wanted to see what your perspective is right now. So,
sure,
I'll take your answer over the air. Thanks.
That's a great question. How about solar? See, I've heard some people say, look, if you're in your 20s or 30s, buy solar. If you're in your 50s or 60s, not such a good idea.
Well,
and do you rent or lease?
Okay.
Or buy.
Yeah. From the real estate perspective, and remember, our perspective comes into play when you're going to buy, sell, or refinance. Solar causes issues because...
What issues?
Well, the lender may not like the solar lease that you have. Now, if you own the solar, the lender won't have a problem with it because there's no lien against the property. But that lease becomes a lien on the property that the new lender may not want to be involved in.
Okay.
If you're going to sell, saw one recently where the people sold within 5 years. They never had time to recapture their $50,000 investment. So, if you're never going to
this
sell,
gentleman is going to stay in his house with his wife and kids, and he's worried about his electric bills, he's not planning on selling. Should he buy solar?
And I like the
lease it?
word buy, even if you have to go out and finance it outside of a lease. And be real careful with
Better to buy than lease?
it from a real estate perspective, yes. Now, from a, if you don't...
Just a homeowner, not anybody that's going to sell a home, but is it better to buy?
I'm going to say yes. And I've always thought that. Now, if you're short term and you've got such a great lease that you know that a buyer will assume it, that's okay too. But I've seen lots of escrows cancel because the buyer would not assume the lease. I had one where the buyer asked for a $10,000 credit to assume the lease because it wasn't such a good lease. Yeah, so this is a bad thing to say, but solar can create a cloud on title.
Yeah, it can. And so...
You didn't get that about the cloud on solar.
Yes, I did, because if it's cloudy, it's not going to work, right? Well, that's not true, because when it is cloudy, it still works, right?
That's right.
I'm assuming, I'm no solar expert, am I right about that? Even when it's cloudy and raining, don't the panels work?
If you stored up enough energy.
Okay, there you go. There you go. You have to store up enough energy, because if the sun's not shining, you're obviously not going to get that energy working. But if you store it up, it's like saving money in the bank, right?
Yes.
Pretty much the idea. So once again, does it when you say, talking about paying off a loan for solar, does it matter if you're 50, 60, 70 years old, or whether you're 34 or 35?
Well, the older you are, the more there's a greater likelihood of the unexpected happening. I still consider myself young, but who knows what's going to happen. So
Would
maybe
you buy solar for your home?
No.
Because
there's other things I can do, like plant a shade tree, put solar screens up, weather strip, put a thermostat, a controlled thermostat on, that are going to help reduce the cost of that. Now, that's me personally. And
is solar still too expensive and out of control and unpredictable?
Well, my opinion is that it is, because if you have to spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to save a couple of $100 a month, that's going to take a lot of months to recover.
Yeah, but if this gentleman had called in, if you've got a PG&E bill that's $1,000, you really do need to turn that thermostat up. You can't keep that bad boy at 70 degrees and expect your bill to be down.
Right.
It just is not reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And with the rates going up, because at my house I keep the temperature at, what's the recommended, 78 in the summer. Okay,
yeah.
I keep it around 78, 79, 80, right in there, and I have reasonable bills.
And it's amazing what paying attention to your thermostat can do. 2 years ago, our bill got too high, in my opinion, and so my wife and I cut it down 2 degrees on the thermostat.
Went way down, I'll bet.
Yeah, the bill did.
And not only that, it helps if you have ceiling fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It cuts down the temperature. Ceiling fans, they help circulate the air, so your bill will go down as well. So, hey, are there any solar panels over there at Huntington Boulevard? Any of those homes?
No. Well, on Huntington Boulevard, I'm sure there are, but none on the house that we were talking about.
But there probably are in some of the homes.
Yeah. You see it more and more commonly.
Yeah. Okay, gotta go. Don, come back.
All right, I will.
Fun.
I always enjoy this.
Congrats.
You're a good host.
Oh, thank you. So, and you're a good guest. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Don Scordino is my friend. He is from Realty Concepts, and he'll be back. See you Monday with Brooke Ashton. Have a good weekend.
If you have a need to promote your business or event, please consider MeTV Fresno for your next campaign. MeTV reaches over 100,000 of your potential customers in the Fresno area every single week. Plus, you can rest assured that your commercial is running in the greatest family-friendly programs of all time. MeTV Fresno delivers a strong, loyal audience ready to buy, and your campaign will cost a fraction of what you're paying for your advertising now. Call me today to find out how affordable MeTV is at 905-1925.
On